Exile's not going to be able to get a comfortable matchup.
And we have a bunch of bans on the table already.
Right
Unicorns of Love dealing with Zillion, Jace, and Karma, and Syndra and Ryze is expected. On the right side, the bans from TSM, waiting on that third one. No surprises there, but then choosing to take out the Zillion and the Jace, and of course the Karma is a expected ban.
Absolutely. But now that Unicorns has the first pick, and more importantly, the blue side, they're most likely going to have to blind pick their mid and top lane, which means that they have to go with power picks. Victor, a very safe blind pick. That's why you ban out the Zillion if you really want to get this pick.
And the third ban from TSM, Tom Kench, is something they don't want to see for Hylissang on the side of Unicorns of Love. They now have to think about their first pick and where they put their priority.
And of course, Cassio was banned last game, but is still up and available. Not going to be the end-all, be-all mid lane picks, but also the jungle pool is completely open.
Nidalee was banned the previous game, and now that TSM can get their hands on it, the Olaf, while effective in the previous instance, I think that TSM can definitely work with Nidalee on Svenskeren. And even though he did get nerfed, they might stray away from it. He's very capable in any jungler, but if he can pull this one off, we really might see the power of this pick.
We'll see what they decide to go for. The hover for now, it could also be Lee Sin. We know he's very proficient on that as well. And what are we looking at for TSM? What are they thinking of picking here, aside from the jungler?
So I think a Poppy pick would make a lot of sense, because it's a really good combination with the Nidalee. It's very easy to dive the backline. You have a lot of setup in the top side in terms of ganking, in terms of diving anybody, and it just really is what you want to have when you have a squishy, high damage jungler.
I think it fits perfectly into what the team needs overall as well, and also allows kind of, you know, that lane's going to lose if Vizicsacsi has a counter pick, if he can pick something more aggressive like a Kennen, like a Jace in the early game, just based on the range that those champions have. So I feel like overall it sets up Svenskeren to immediately be able to focus on the bottom side of the map or in the mid lane, which is perfect for them overall. But in the end,
we're gonna get to go see Svenskeren Lee Sin. You are excited for that.
Yeah, he is so good at this, and I think that he's gonna really just do a victory lap around moves Lee Sin from the previous time, because if he can play the Lee, how he played it at Worlds, how he played the Olaf today, then we're going to see a lot of pressure, just using Flash nonstop. And he has the advantage of not only really pressuring the mid lane, and this is the danger of Lee Sin as the manaless junglers, because they can do a route without doing blue buff. That means that they can hand off that first instance of blue, which we know lasts longer than any other instance, allowing Bjergsen to really further that advantage into the mid lane, considering that he gets counter pick.
It's so brutal already. Already looking like the better equipped player mechanically, the better mid laner overall, now potentially going to get the blue buff in the early game in addition to a counter pick. This is not the setup that Unicorns of Love want whatsoever, but unfortunately they're really powerless to do anything about it. Yes, if they take Lee Sin away, they give him the Olaf again. He gets the Nidalee, he gets whatever he wants, and it feels like Unicorns of Love are not set up for success, but they are taking some moves here in pick bans, because I like that the Kennen is coming in. It is putting more focus on Chachi finding a lead on the top side, but Kennen has both the ability to bully the lane and the ability to impact those team fights.
Yeah. And I mean, Kennen now is even easier for TSM to decide if they're going to save the counter pick for mid lane. Quite obviously it was at first, but they just say we want the support. We have a feeling most likely that Unicorns will go with a Victor towards the mid side, and now that Zillion's out, or Orianna, although Orianna does have a good matchup into Cassiopeia, the blue buff will definitely sway that.
And the Echo, we saw that yesterday once as well, and absolutely wreaking havoc for Expression. We will see what Hanser can do with it here, and see what Unicorns of Love decide to round out their comp with, and most importantly, that mid lane pick.
Of course, Echo really a champion that if he ever gets a lead is always going to be terrifying, so I'm curious to see if this means that they are going to put pressure on the top side, or if they just want Hanser to be comfortable on his own in that matchup. A champion that's not going to get dived, that always will be able to, you know, remain relatively even in the laning phase. But of course, the Bard has been left up and available. It's been banned against Unicorns of Love in every match in the tournament thus far, and Hylissang immediately goes for it.
Well, let's see if the Bard is actually ban-worthy. Coupled with Orianna, it really makes for a lot of engagement, really just complete devastation if you can land the Tempered Fate, follow it up with a Shockwave that is just so easy to do. TSM will definitely have to keep their eyes out on mobility to get away from the heavy engagement that the Unicorns has.
And I really like that they've set up their bot lane for success in terms of playmaking. I always love seeing Hylissang on something with hard CC, the ability to initiate fights. It's a similar story for Veritas as well. They have the Ashe, they have the Bards. They can dictate the pace of these engagements. However, once again, like last game, especially if this Thresh gets locked in, if TSM get any kind of lead, if they're able to use Svenskeren the same way they did last game, it's not really going to matter. Yes, Unicorns of Love have the potential for the Wombo combo, but they're just going to get outclassed by the sheer damage that Cassio can put out.
The giggle? I don't really know what I was referring to.
Well, they have a buff unicorn behind them to really support them.
Yeah.
The Zyra coming in, I think the Zyra is a strong pick here because it will do fine against Bard in the lane, but the danger is going to be with the heavy engage. If Zyra gets caught out of position, she's just going to be fodder non-stop for the unicorns. You have Ashe arrows, you have Bard, you have the TP from Kennen. It's quite easy to pop this pick, so TSM is working with a quite fragile lineup.
And something that we heard from Frost Gurin earlier on the cast, and I believe from you as well, Crumbs, is that Jhin kind of wants someone to protect him on that front line, wants to be able to ult, and we once again don't have that from TSM. Echo's not a tank known for his ability to peel. Yes, Zyra has something, but if they ever get onto that bot lane, they're just going to go down immediately.
Two potentially very explosive compositions. Once again, time to get into game 2 with our casters.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Guys, coming back here for game 2. Interesting draft coming out from both sides. We're going to have Wild Turtle on the Jhin, not really a champion that he's been known for in the past. And then, of course, Bard making it through the draft, the Cassiopeia making it through the draft. So some pretty powerful picks. Nidalee also not getting snatched up.
Yeah, the Jhin for Wild Turtle was a little surprising for me. I know they do want to take it away and make sure that Veritas doesn't have it because it's been his best champion. But Wild Turtle's last 4 Jhin games, he's 5 Jhin games. He's 1 and 4 on that champion. It has not been a good champion for him in high pressure situations in both the playoffs and the regional qualifiers. He actually failed a lot on it.
He looked very comfortable in his last game, though, so don't know if he'll fall under the same stressors. His partner, of course, is Zyra, and I kind of want to speak and direct towards that bottom lane. So you've got Ashe Bard versus Jhin Zyra. Now, Hillsong's Bard has been banned away from him multiple times over the course of this tournament. It certainly fits in his wheelhouse. He likes to roam around. He likes to be that kind of ganking support. It's why that Tahm Kench was also working out for him. But the problem is that because they have that Zyra pick, she should be able to at least neutralize the shove or even possibly shove them in and keep Hillsong locked down so he cannot roam towards mid, cannot roam towards top.
All right, well, here we are on to the Rift for game 2. TSM going to be looking to close this out over Unicorns of Love and move on to our grand finals. Unicorns need to bounce back, need to find this win if they want to keep their IEM dreams alive.
Look at this, TSM making a beeline straight for the bottom lane. Might be 3-4 in the bush.
Yeah, we saw this in game 1.
Oh.
Unicorns didn't fall for it, and okay. Gonna get hit with a pause. Looks like we just have a slight issue on stage. We'll get that taken care of.
No, it's
and we'll
fine.
get right back into the game.
Just means the tension gets to build. So how the map looked is that Unicorns of Love set up in a standard 5.5 referring to covering the 5 entrances to the jungle. It's kind of the option play of level 1 League of Legends, whereas TSM looking for that scouting kill vision by running head first into that bottom brush. Means that Hillsong and Veritas have to be very careful how they're going to scout this out. Now, typically, teams can circumvent this by placing a ward deep down the lane to catch this type of maneuver out. They do have the volley as well as the cosmic binding to check the brush, but if they face check,
Yeah, that's going to be somebody most certainly dying, especially somebody squishy like Hillsong on that Bard. But we'll see if they're going to fall for the trap. Looks like we might have the OK on stage. Just waiting for these guys to go ahead and start the countdown to get back into the game and get this underway. We'll have to see how Unicorns are going to bounce back from that first game because it was a bit rough from them. TSM being pretty dominant. Granted, they didn't close out the game as early as we thought that they might be able to, but it was still a pretty strong performance.
Yeah, absolutely strong performance from TSM. But I think the draft right now, a little bit more even. TSM have a lot of scaling, though. You have to worry what happens if they end up getting an early lead and if they end up going even further with that. Hey, oh.
I don't think Hillsong is so blind that he didn't catch that one. TSM not going to be able to pull it off.
But this is what we were talking about with that kind of scouting vision. Even though Hillsong didn't place a ward, just his posturing and his position within the lane allowed him to catch the vision of them cheating between those 2 bushes. So a great positioning from Unicorns of Love to make sure that they didn't leave open an Achilles heel for this bot lane.
Yeah. So just going to remain safe. We see the recalls coming through. The rest of TSM just going to scatter back to their usual positions. We'll have Haunter coming back in on this Echo, going up against the Kennen. Could be a little bit of a rough matchup, especially if Vizicachi can get rolling. Be a pretty big monster in that back lane with that. Oh, Frost Turtle.
That's actually pretty good from Unicorns of Love. Zyra doesn't want to start a camp unless she has a lot of setup time, and what Biofrost is trying to do is get a decent amount of plants up in the middle of the lane, and instead you just walk straight through them, step on the seeds, and you're good to go.
Yeah, well, just like game 1, mid lane's already going to be action-packed with trading. Bjergsen and Exile just going back and forth there.
It's such a volatile lane as well. Orianna's considered the counter to Cassiopeia, but that's mostly because there's no whole lot that can actually do well against Cassiopeia. She scales so well and does so much damage early. The kill potential in this lane is actually quite high.
So we can see in the bottom lane, still just getting chunked out back and forth. Hillsang takes a bit of damage, has those little relics he can throw on the ground to heal himself back up, but the side of TSM, not so much. It's just going to be off that base regen. They don't want to have to pop that heal to keep themselves alive in this lane, so they have to be a little bit careful, make sure they're hiding behind those minions so they don't get caught by that volley.
And quickly touching back to this mid lane, so like you said, it is Orianna favored, and it is a very volatile matchup. It then goes back to the junglers. You know, how are the mid laners going to influence this lane? Again, there's still going to be a ton of kill pressure just because the kill threat from Lee Sin and Olaf, the burst damage that both of them supply. And either way, at some point, they're going to be able to push the wave back and forth and bounce, and this is what Exile's doing. He's got the wave shoved in, he has the pressure point, Bjergsen's locked down, he's just going to peek over and check out what's happening on Raptor Camp.
Yeah, if he is actually able to steal any one of those small ones, he prevents the level 3 from coming out.
Very punishing.
So, it was actually
Oh
good
boy,
to
Hunter
go
in the
back
top lane. He's going to get stunned up. Vizichachi able to just take him out in the solo kill right in the middle of the lane.
Gotta be careful about that Kennen. If Kennen's able to get a combo or a stacked up W, it's a big problem, and it looks like he didn't respect it.
Yeah, and no one expected that. In fact, our observer, you know, catching it a little bit late there because level 2 all-in top lane, someone dies for free. Flash is still available for both top laners.
Yeah, not something that you really expect. We can see Haunser already going to have to use that teleport to come back into the lane, starting to fall behind, 14-7 CS. Look at the Scuttle Crab going over, move, able to find it, but Svenskeren is hot on his heels. Biofrost coming in, has the roots, will connect, but Veritas and Hillsang are there to back him up. And Svenskeren thinking he's maybe bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. He's going to have to peel back, but that's going to be the magical journey coming through. Wild Turtle just going to get sniped by that Cosmic Binding. One more hit will take him out. Oh, the shield from Vitzgood takes him, keeps him safe. Svenskeren comes in and is able to scoop up that kill, keeping Turtle safe. That was so close.
It was greed meant for greed. The fact that Turtle stepped forward to try to push the wave, to try to pick up that CS, suddenly he's in a bad situation, and then Hilly flashing forward, trying to get the finishing kill. Ah, so unfortunate, but excellently played from TSM.
So good until it was so bad.
So good until it
was so good. That could have been a Hillsang highlight right there. But the prediction on the flash,
cut it early.
Making sure, yeah, just cut the tape. Make sure you put that one in there.
That was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions right there. This is like, oh, Svenskeren's dead. Oh, maybe Wild Turtle's dead. Never mind, it's Hillsang in the end.
There was a
Biofrost. What is going on? Biofrost too far forward, 80 carry not there, and Veritas picks up a very easy solo kill.
This is actually important. So 6.21 Ashe was adjusted. She had more power and more CC moved onto her Frost Shot to compensate for the cooldown nerfs to her volley. And what this means is that pre-level 6, Ashe has so much more power to walk you down because it changed from a 5% slow to a 10% slow. Now you lose a lot of that into the late game, but that doesn't matter because late game, she's going to have pretty much 100% crit. So you're going to be hitting the triple crit now, which was changed onto the Frost Shot, so you just get more across the board, straight buff.
As long as you're able to get a follow-up hit, get him twice, get that crit off. And Hunter.
Yeah, he's going to go back in for this trade, but gets burned down below half HP. The auto attack still with that Doran's Blade doing some work for Vizichachi.
Yeah, I went back and I looked at it. Vizichachi was actually attacking Haunser more than he was attacking minions during level 1. Got him to about half HP and just kept whittling him down. And now this lane is effectively over for the laning phase for Haunser, and he just has to kind of survive it until he gets help. But right now, move. So heading towards the top side. Looks like he's going to back. He's not going to help this lane out. It's underneath the turret soon.
Doesn't really need to help this lane out. Chachi is doing a pretty good job on his own. 13 CS now up at the moment. No waves crashing in, so Haunser, he'll be able to pick up a couple of those.
But how you continue to punish this is very different, just because Echo will have his ultimate soon, and so even though he doesn't have the TP, he'll have that reposition ability to kind of compensate, pick up that CS, hang around in the lane, and it's still very hard to dive in Echo. So this is now Vizichachi not just continuing to win and punish his lane, but to move around to the bottom side of the map.
And I want to see what Vizichachi does when he hits 6, because he'll hit 6 about a full minion wave before Haunser does, so he would be able to punish him before he has the ultimate to come through for the Echo.
Oh, Hillsang's going to get rooted. That's the W coming through from Wild Turtle. Looks like it's just going to be some harassment. No overcommitment coming through from TSM. Don't want to go for the kill.
Just harassment? That was 75% of his health bar.
It's severe harassment. How about that? We'll call it that.
Severe harassment.
So it's scared and move, finding each other in the jungle. Just going to be clearing out a couple wards.
I was like, isn't that how you say Sivir's name?
That's an old joke, but it checks out.
Oh boy, but Unicorns finding themselves in a bit of an advantageous position this time around. Not going to be down in gold like we saw in game 1. Still just 7 minutes in, but already 1,000 up on the board for them. Is going to be looking pretty solid.
I don't know if I know you that well, Zyrene, to burn you like that.
It's funny because it's like we're thinking while Seth is talking. It's like, oh my God,
just the eye contact that was happening.
I'm just letting this.
Say, Seth?
I'm just letting this all go on around me. I'm just gonna stare intently at the screen at the moment.
Anyway, back to the game. Hotster used his ultimate to come back to that lane. He picks up some early magic resistance, much needed for him, but in the bottom lane, it's just concentrating. Veritas again getting caught, and you can see chunks below half HP.
Yep, Bjergsen just throwing out that poison, trying to push Exile back. Move's going to show himself in mid. So TSM will be able to track his movements a little bit better from now on. Cosmic Binding on to Turtle, but it's just going to be the poking back and forth. No one really getting whittled down too low.
Speaking of tracking movements, the fact that pings are continuously coming from blue side, tracking move, like you said, through that jungle. So TSM playing with a lot of information here, which allows them to be aggressive on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. While Turtle still taking a couple of those volleys to the face. He's getting lower and lower and doesn't have a very reliable way of sustaining. He's out of potions, so he's got to be a bit more careful because that Ash arrow comes out, and there it is actually as Veritas hits 6. The exhaust is there. Hylissang, he's going to swoop up that kill, but it's still going to be another one on the board rather for Unicorns of Love, 3-1.
And such good timing, too. And Hotster still taking a ton of harass underneath that turret. Doesn't have the ultimate, so he's going to have to back here. And he may have to teleport back into lane. Move here if he can interrupt the recall.
Yeah, Hotster doesn't have the ultimate up yet. Looks like he will be able to make it out. Move not going to go in for the Undertow to interrupt.
But now he has the option, knowing that Olaf's in the area. He doesn't have vision that Move is actually resetting his position on the map, and he's actually going to choose and commit back towards the top lane, although cautiously walking.
Yes, don't teleport if you know the jungler's top side. Get absolutely decimated.
And it seems little, but because he's not teleporting, because he doesn't want to burn that summoner spell, get dove, and then not have it available, it does mean that the wave anyway is killed, but meanwhile mid.
Yes, Svenskaren's coming in, but Exile, he starts cheating up towards that top side of the river. Actually pops the Ghost, which might not have been necessary, but they get that Summoner spell out of him in the end. So a nice little pressure play from Svenskaren. Looks like we're going to have another quick little pause.
And the fact that he uses the Ghost isn't awful against the Cassiopeia because Bjergsen has elected to take the cleanse just because Veritas' arrows. It's really bad if you're a Cassiopeia and you're low mobility champion not taking that summoner spell against an Ashe rule. Sometimes throw that arrow just straight into your lane just for fun, see if it hits or not. So not going to have a mobility disadvantage for Exile.
Yeah. So not the worst thing that could have happened, but still a little bit of a freebie there for TSM, who so far still struggling a little bit. Just 9 minutes into this game, down 3-1 in the kills. They're down 1.3 thousand gold. This is, kind of turning things on its head compared to game 1.
And I think a big thing, too, is that top lane is 74 CS to 45. It's already 30 CS up for Vizicachi here. And Hotster, he's been struggling here the entire time, like straight from level 1.
Yeah, this is pretty much night and day situation for him.
It's also kind of the go button for Unicorns of Love composition in general, just because they have so many global to semi-global ultimates. The fact that they have the Tempered Fate, that they have the arrow that's coming back off of cooldown. So it's at that moment in the game where Unicorns of Love can, if they ever disappear into Fog of War, is very scary for TSM across the board.
Yeah, so we'll see if Unicorns can hold on to this, keep up the pressure. Now Veritas, just making very swift use of that Ashe arrow. As soon as he hits level 6, could be expecting more and more of that. Now with Hylissang as well at level 6, the Tempered Fate can come into play, and they can start making those mid-map plays between them with the teleport from Vizicachi as well.
And that's really where they start to thrive. The fact when they get Hylissang and Veritas involved on the map. Unicorns of Love, at least for this tournament, have been very quick and very fast about making these kind of mini rotations and snowballing from there.
Yeah. See just some more trading going on between Hotster and Vizicachi, but he is still in a bit of a rough spot, 55 to 80 CS.
Yeah, and that's going to give them a little bit of an opportunity on the bottom side of the map, though. Invade towards that blue buff.
Yeah, we see the wards coming out, so Biofrost and Wild Turtle, they'll be able to clear that one out. Looks like blue buff is successfully handed over to Bjergsen, so he doesn't have to fret too much. And that's going to be really nice for his harass going in that mid lane against Exile. So it looks like it's just going to be no real big item that's coming out quite yet. Wild Turtle has a serrated Dirk, and Hotster's just trying to hold on to any MR that he could possibly get. Just has that null magic mantle. Still opted in for the Dark Seal. Wasn't sure if he was going to do that, with that early kill that he suffered. but looks like he's still committing.
Yeah, it's kind of the sustained build for Echo and the possibility of snowballing. If you get back in the game, get a lot of assists, then you have so much AP. And the scaling on his AP on his shield.
Oh boy, Cosmic binding into the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Looks like Wild Turtle might be okay. Tempered Fate comes down, catches both of them, but there's no follow-up to be had. So Veritas, Hillsang, nice, landing of the skill shots, but they can't finalize the kills.
Oh, hold on though. Svenskeren actually in the top lane, finally throwing Hanser.
Yeah, he's going to dash over, kicks Vizicachi just a little bit out of the lane, throws down the slicing Maelstrom, but it does not matter. Svenskeren puts another one on the board for TSM.
That's exactly what Hanser needed, some attention in that top lane. He's down in CS. He has a Dark Seal, so the kill's worth even a little bit more on him, and that's going to give them some turret pressure. And now you can see that ultimate was trying to actually get them off the turret because first turret gold.
And now it becomes a race, but meanwhile in the top lane, Svenskeren and Hanser have quite a lead right now. They should be able to get this down quickly.
Yeah, something tells me that a Lee Sin and an Echo can take a turret a little bit faster than a Bard. When Shockwave comes out, Bjergsen will take a little bit of damage, but he gets the flash away from Exile.
Just on the very edge right there. If that Shockwave hadn't connected, if Bjergsen had decided to flash forward and dodge it, he probably would have been able to walk down Orianna.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is now that he doesn't have that flash, it's a flash advantage for Bjergsen. You have to be really scared in that lane. And these lanes used to all be winning for UOL, and now TSM, they're bringing it back.
Well, they have that ward in the jungle, so they did see move coming in. That's why they started cheating back up that lane. But Wild Turtle and Biofrost will remain safe for now, but that turret is dangerously low. One more push by Unicorns of Love, and they can finally take that out and put one on the board for themselves.
It's a bit scary for them because they didn't actually have eyes on Exile until just that second. Bjergsen actually warding over the wall in the mid lane to find him, but Cassiopeia actually shoved the lane forward and then disappeared into Fog of War. And so the reason why a move was being a bit more cautious is because they didn't know where Bjergsen could have possibly been roaming around.
Yeah, don't want to walk into Bjergsen in a dark jungle. That's one fast way to die.
He looks like a friendly guy, I'm just saying.
He's a friendly guy, but he's pretty cutthroat. Known him for a little while. You don't mess with him, but no. TSM crawling back into this one. Gold pretty much dead even, but they do have that turret advantage. So as soon as Unicorns can finish the one off, the tier 1 and bottom, they'll swing right back into their favor. Dragon not yet going to be a point of contention, but Wild Turtle, they get caught by that Tempered Fate. Do they have the follow-up? Ash Arrow, nice flash away. The timing not quite there for Veritas, so won't be able to line that up and finalize a kill for Unicorns. So Turtle makes it out alive, but had to use the flash.
Yep, and that leaves him vulnerable for the next time the arrow is up. And it won't be too long before that happens. They've just been putting so much pressure on Turtle. You can see he's already suffering the CS department. And UOL.
Oh boy, Hanser.
Nice CS, but hold up.
Yeah, he's going to go back in. Actually, Hanser trying to commit to this one. He's going to snap back. It's a little bit of that HP. Vizicachi does not have the flash to pursue. No one coming up there. Now Shockwave in. Svenskeren taking these turn shots. Throws out the Dragon's Rage. He's still going to die. But Bjergsen gets his first kill of the game onto Exile. So 1 for 1.
Yeah, and that's the Cassiopeia. She just does so much damage. As soon as she's able to get a poison on you, it's absolutely ridiculous how much she can do there. And even prevent you from getting away. Didn't use the Ghost there. Exile, he was kind of dead to rights from Svenskeren.
Oh, big chunk on the Hillsang.
You definitely
Blinding comes through. They're going to open up the curtain call, but doesn't really have the angle. Veritas and Hillsang both make it out very quickly. And now Biofrost, they're just going to turn this on him. Flashes away. A couple more hits would take him out, but looks like he's okay.
No, he was not. He moves here.
Oh, that move's just charging it under the tower. Has the Ragnarok. Finishes him off with the undertow. Take a couple turret shots. Can't get Wild Turtle. He was too healthy, but still picks one up.
Excellently played from Hillsang and Veritas right there to have set it up for move. The fact that they were both able to disengage from Wild Turtle's curtain call there. And it's kind of like what you alluded to, Zyrene, earlier, that Wild Turtle doesn't necessarily have the best track record when you look at his Jhin performance.
Yeah, it's mostly a high-pressure games, too. He did play it a couple of times during the regular season, and he went 3-1 on it, which is very respectable, but at the same time, it's still a negative overall for Summer. It's still in terms of win rate, and especially in high-pressure matches, it just hasn't been very successful for him.
Well, Svenskeren not going to be able to find that blue buff, but as you were saying, so far, not been looking good for Turtle on the Jhin. Blue buff comes out. Shockwave actually going to suck in Svenskeren and Hanser. A little bit of damage, but they will be able to retreat.
Yeah, and it was Move who ended up getting the smite and picking up the blue buff there, so it's not a complete loss, but they stop it from going on the
Hillsang, they're coming in with the magical journey. Hillsang, he's already going to go down. Biofrost picks up that kill. Svenskeren dangerously low, has to hightail it out of here, and Hanser is just trying to disrupt the back line. Will use the snapback on the ultimate. Bjergsen goes in, finds Exile. Ash Arrow not going to connect. A double kill going over to Biofrost.
And that was the fact that they chose to fight without the Shockwave. Now, reminder, it had been used as they were trying to exit off of that, out of that ramp gameplay, and so the fact that Hilly decided to go for it, to be aggressive, not having his mid laner's ultimate available, big mistake that cost him his life.
Yeah, and there was no flash for Vizicachi either. He looked like he was trying to flank. He already has the proto belt. If he had both of those, there's an easy way in onto multiple people there, at least 3, and that would have been a victory there for UOL, but it's just the timing of that. They decided to keep chasing, and the bar, kind of a wasted flash as well.
That feel when your support has the most kills on your team. Biofrost just taking him away from Wild Turtle, hasn't been able to pick one up yet, but still a nice pickup for TSM as a whole. They still hold on to that turret in the bottom lane, so they actually start to inch ahead with a very slight gold lead. A nice little spot for them, and Bjergsen especially coming in with that kill, those 2 assists. He's going to be crushing it in the mid lane. Already has that Abyssal Scepter completed. Then you see the Giant spell coming through as well. He's up in CS. He's having a hell of a time on this Cassiopeia.
Oh, here comes the curtain call.
The curtain call comes out, but not going to get a whole lot. They take a magical journey through that dragon wall. They make it out safely.
And TSM just kind of wandering through the jungle, a little bit of indecisiveness, miscommunication. They just allow their tower to fall for free. Yes, it was very low, so it was just kind of a stiff breeze that pushed it over, but prioritizing, I guess, their blue security.
Yeah, the game is also neck and neck here, so if you're able to give Bjergsen, who is the standout player right now, and one who's up in CS, the only lane that's up in CS, on advantage, then it's possible that you can turn this around. So they're trying to set him up for success here.
Yeah, we can see, though, UOL, they're going to go ahead and start up this Cloud Drake. Should be able to net this one for themselves, and they will. First dragon going in. Now Biofrost actually going to go down. That's a kill picked up by Exile in the fight. Just exploding right here in the jungle. Hill saying Exile and Veritas all very low. Svenskeren goes in, gets the Dragon's Rage kick onto the Ashe. Wild Turtle pushing forward, looking for the kill onto Veritas. If he can find it, but here comes Chachi. Slicing Maelstrom comes through, and that's going to be enough for them to finish off Wild Turtle. Let's see now, Exile. They're completely caught out in TSM's side of the jungle, though. Bjergsen's still relatively healthy. Halter goes in with a phase dive, gets caught out and stunned immediately, has to snap back with the ulti, but here comes Bjergsen. Doesn't have the Petrifying Gaze, does not have the flash, throws down the poison, trying to get the slow. Exile low on mana. Bjergsen makes some magic. Going in, Vizicachi looking for the stun. Bjergsen gets that command attack. He goes down almost. Svenskeren able to equalize the kill with the help of Halter. They're going to pick up 2 more. Bit of a scattered fight. TSM able to come out on top, but that one was all over the place.
It was all over the place. And UOL, they actually had an opportunity there. If Vizicachi and everybody's on the same page that I'm going to stun Bjergsen right now, you turn, you kill him immediately. And you saw Veritas actually just booked it out of there completely. Didn't help with the damage at all. And also, there was a little bit of ability, but hold on.
Yeah, not done yet. Move says, you know what, I have a Ragnarok. Moves in on the Biofrost, but with the rest of TSM arriving, he's going to have to peel back.
Just so chaotic, so scattered. The clean precision that we saw from Unicorns of Love yesterday against INTZ has almost completely disappeared. It is no longer about, you know, efficient pathing and hitting those great back timers and just inching these tiny little advantages that amount to these big dive scenarios. It's just these chaotic brawls.
And it shouldn't really be because they have advantages in these lanes, and Move has been doing a good job. Right here, it was a good pickup at the start, but they used a lot there. They end up putting Wild Turtle in stasis, and Vizicachi is trying to get in there so quickly.
And he actually burns his flash as well as his proto belt because he's just trying to rush in as quickly as possible. That when Svenskeren actually ward hops, he doesn't have the flash to follow up. So just mistiming across the board in their pathing, their backs, as well as their team fighting.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cluster, but TSM still going to come out now 9-8. They have the kill advantage, but the gold is pretty much dead even as the turrets getting ready to be shredded up in this top lane. You can see the ghost coming through from Move.
Arrows
the
up.
Rush forward as the Ragnarok is going to get caught. Svenskeren going in deep, but the magical journey is there to take him out. Svenskeren's actually going to pursue that one, but gets locked up by the Cosmic Biting, bit off way more than he could chew, and he goes down. Exile able to get the killing blow, but Bjergsen, he wants revenge, going in on a Move, won't be able to get that last Twin Fang to finalize the kill, and it looks like the Olaf will be able to live one more day.
Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, bottom lane, it's just a gigantic brawl. Vizicachi up against Hanser, and Hanser actually has the advantage now. Since that Trinity Force is completed, the Echo does have the upper hand.
And it's the nice thing, the fact that Echo can itemize into damage since he is a false tank with his ultimate and all of those... Oh, hold on.
Oh, he's not done. He's just going to go ahead, two-shot the rest of Vizicachi's HP, which should mean that that turret is going to go down, has the Sheen procs from the Trinity Force. He's going to make quick work of that.
It's okay, Vizicachi. I didn't see it coming either.
Yeah, the flash. Also, there's 8 stacks now for his Dark Seal. The only death that he has is that one that happened at the beginning, the solo kill, and now 3-1 and 2, and he's well off the ground. He's even up in levels over Vizicachi, which is a big problem here because he was so far behind previously. But now with the damage coming through, he's even going to get himself a turret in a split push by himself.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a good item if you can bounce back, and Haunter, he's done just that now, 3-1 and 2. As mentioned, clawing his way back in as far as the CS is concerned as well, but the map pressure that he's applying right now is just, can't really put that into the value of that, but Turtle, flashes away with the Cosmic Binding, still gets him. What was that?
I'm tilted for him.
Oh, man.
Well, Cosmic Binding cheats a little bit. I'm just saying. It ended up snapping him to the wall there, even after the flash, because as soon as it hit, he flashed afterwards because it's not going to instant stun you, and then it checks. So it checked at the time when he got hit by it originally, not after he flashed.
Oh, well, that's got to be deeply upsetting for Wild Turtle, but does get caught out, so UOL there. Little bush camp does pay off for them in the end.
Okay, so this is actually very important, though. The side lane matchup is now incredibly volatile for TSM. For Unicorns of Love. Haunter has the upper hand. He's going to continue to be able to bully around Vizicachi, so suddenly the tides have turned for how the early game was going for Haunter. And what this does is it opens up a whole new slew of possibilities for how they want to play the map, especially because Bjergsen has such great Baron tread.
And you can't allocate too many people down here to deal with Haunter if you don't have a way to get up towards that Baron, like you said. And it looked like they were trying to make a play onto Haunter if he was going to overstay just a little bit longer. But he pulls back and actually goes towards the top side of the map now for the fight.
Yeah, Zyra, ultimate thrown out. They get the kick in on the Hillsang. He's going to go down. Wild Turtle actually able to find that kill. Opens up with the Kurt Call move on the run. Petrifying Gaze will catch Exile. Bullets come through. They take him pretty low. Unicorns of Love, they have to back off, but Haunter, he's just disrupting the flank. Goes straight onto Vizicachi, works him down. 2 kills so far for TSM. Haunter goes forward, can't use the ultimate in time, gets shut down by Exile, but still going to be a 2 for 2. Top end support going down. Bjergsen getting caught by the command shockwave, but the damage still isn't there for them to finish him off.
The damage isn't there for them to finish it off, but the damage almost has been done for them to grab this tower. They did run out of a creep wave, but a new one is coming in, and they've chipped away enough at the health. I don't know, Exile, this could be dangerous. Nope, they're going to back off.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and let that one
ballsy.
stay.
Yeah.
Would have been a pretty ill-advised stick around if they had done so, but all in all, just going to be 2 people going down on either side, both top laners and support.
The top laners now, very volatile matchup, but it's completely in favor of Haunter. He even just went straight through the ultimate of Vizicachi. He didn't care, forced him to solo ulti, and still got the kill on him. And that's something that now, that's not a winning lane for you at all. It's the matchup that swaps around level 9 into the Echo's favor. And with the magic resist items, there's not much you can do about it at that point from onward. You have to go after the squishies.
Yep, and as we take a look at this fight, you're going to see exactly what Zyrene is talking about. Isn't it super fun when a champion like Echo gets to build straight damage and then just face take Kennen like he doesn't care?
Yeah, the exhaust came through.
Oh boy.
Still would have been a victory there for Haunter.
Take a look at this one. Speaking of Haunter going straight into the pit onto Hillsang, gets the stun off. Gonna have to snap back, but Unicorns, they're still sticking to this Baron. It's down below half HP. Wild Turtle coming in, the TP being used by Vizicachi, trying to join his team. That's gonna be Veritas picking up a kill onto Wild Turtle right away. The Baron going solo. Spencer getting it. No, he cannot. The Baron is confirmed by the smite by move, but he is gonna fall immediately. And now TSM, they might be able to just clean up the fight. Bjergsen getting stunned up by that slicing Maelstrom, but now can just turn around with bang after bang, takes down the cannon. Meanwhile, Haunter still on the chase for Hillsang and Exile. The rest of TSM trying to cut them off. Spencer dashing forward, getting it. Different fate is there. Will delay him, but they're not done yet. Haunter going straight in on the Hillsang. Will take him out, but he's going to fall in the end. Exile finding the kill. It's a 3 for 3, but the Baron over to Unicorns.
Exactly, and that's a whole bunch of gold to them. 3,000 gold advantage, and they have 2 Barons up, still available on these members.
Not the most important members to have the Baron available, simply because you want one of them to be on the top laner as opposed to the AD carry, so that way you can play across the split push pressure. It is nice to have it on Exile with that Orianna, but it means that Unicorns of Love, instead of playing the map, they need to play a single consolidated lane.
Exile though, Svenskeren coming in from the side, trying to cut him off. Looks like he might be able to zip his way out. Doesn't have the goes. Svenskeren, he's going to stick around.
Yeah, he could turn right now.
Oh, Biofrost from the pit. Gets the root off. Will take him down. The shutdown goes to Bjergsen, but move is there. He collapses on top of the Cassiopeia and finds another kill.
Hilariously, as I say, Unicorns of Love need to play a single consolidated lane because it's risky to leave Ashe by herself. Check out Veritas. He's like, I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Split push Ashe all day.
Yeah,
Push
but
Ashe. He's actually doing so well for himself, too.
There's a Haunter here.
Exactly, but he's able to do this because he had information about where the rest of TSM were, just because he lost his mid laner for it.
I really do want to take stock of Veritas in this entire series. He's been up in CS both times. He's almost Flame Horizoned Wild Turtle. He's 3 levels up on him, too.
He's not died.
He hasn't died a single time. He's also going for the Hex Drinker / Maw.
That's really impressive as an Ashe.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous how far up he is, but hold on, Chachi.
Oh, arrow goes in, and Chachi jumping forward.
Another kill.
With that Proto Belt, and that's going to be another one on the board. Yep, 5, 0, and 7 now for Veritas.
And again, led by Veritas with a beautiful arrow to find them behind the tower. It is going to rotate them nicely into the Cloud Drake, and if they want to look for more, they can look towards that bottom wave.
Well, right now they're going to be looking at a second Cloud Drake. Attack that one on the board for them, get that added bit of movement speed. We'll see what our next Dragon's going to be, and it will be an Ocean Drake. We're getting a lot of those this weekend. It's just Ocean and Cloud for the most part.
I was actually, sorry, I was really confused there because Veritas was using Ashe, and he had the Q up, and he was shooting the Drake, and his stuff went behind, but hold on.
Yeah, Bjergsen going to get caught by the Tempered Fate in the thick of 3 members. Throws out the Petrifying Gaze, but there's only so much you can do. Exhaust there as well, and he's going to go down.
And just giant question mark for Bjergsen. That's so uncharacteristic of him. He knows he's on the Dragon, and he extended anyway.
Yep, there, ward over the wall. Vizitachi knows Svenskerin's here too.
Yep, they're going to chase forward. That's going to be the slow coming out from Haunter. Looks like Vizitachi will go down. Doesn't have Azonia's. And that's going to be a tier 2 falling in favor of TSM.
And this is big because they have the Baron buff on the bottom side. They're going to be able to shove faster. They get mid-chip damage as well, and now they're going to crack the base here. Unicorns of Love, they're going to actually get into TSM's base.
Yeah, look at this. Inhibitor line being broken now. They pour straight onto this one. Turtle still dead for 15 seconds. Bjergsen, another 10. Unicorns, they're going to find it. Haunter is trying to equalize as best as he can, but I don't think he's going to be able to finish this off.
You have to be careful, though. This is the Baron-powered recall, and Veritas, he's the one who came back.
Ashe Arrow thrown out, does clip Haunter. He's going to have to flash away. Do they have to chase? Throws out the Q. Looks like he will be able to get away with the Time Winder. So he will be safe in the end, but they can't get the inhibitor. They just get the turret.
Or both jumping up and down. But Veritas, he's got the empowered recall.
And then my English went out the window, too.
It's all good. You got it. No, but just to kind of talk about, Unicorns of Love, they look so shaky for the early part of this game, now coming back into the back part of this game. So there is a chance this will go even in the series if they can close it out. Still a very big F.
And Unicorns of Love, this team has actually been practicing for the last month. Even before they knew that they were going to be coming to IEM, they had actually buckled down.
But I just love that they've kind of finally found the secret of success, at least against TSM. And it's involving Hillsong and Veritas. The individual lane matchup, Vizitachi did get a lead early, but otherwise the table started getting turned when Svenskeren was prioritizing the correct lanes. But grouped up as 5, the Unicorns are looking strong.
Oh yeah, and speaking of grouped up as 5, they've confirmed that this is the roster that they're going to be using for 2017. And that's why they started practicing so early, because they ended up wanting to make 2017 the Unicorns of Love year. And this tournament is actually the one that gets them that head start. They've been practicing very hard for it. They want to repeat the 2014 success against TSM, and Unicorns of Love, they don't have a first place finish in the books. They want a trophy. They want to take down TSM, and they want this to be a team that Europe can be proud of.
Well, they're working on it right now. They take out that tier 2 turret. Just one more standing in the top lane. Svenskeren goes in, kicks Hillsang in, but that's going to be the shockwave used. Biofrost going down, going low, has to flash away with a Chachi. Flanking in from the top side. TSM sees him though, so they know exactly where he is, and now Haunter is pinching in from below. Throws out the parallel convergence, not sure if he's going to find anything. He takes a good bit of damage. Svenskeren, he goes in, but he gets stunned up immediately, has to hightail it out of there, get back to his team, but he doesn't have the opportunity. He's going to go down. Haunter has to step back. He is going to fall. Another kill picked up. He jumps forward, is just barely clipping Biofrost. Will find Bjergsen in the end. A double kill going over. Biofrost going down. This might be the ace. Wild Turtle, the last living member of TSM, flashes forward, but it's not enough damage to finish off the Ashe. He's going to go down. That's the ace. And with Super Creeps pushing in the bottom lane, that might just be the game.
And again, Veritas with a huge play. The fact that his arrow clips Bjergsen, yes, it automatically pulls the cleanse, but he also dodged the Echo Stun. This guy is playing out of his mind this series.
And he's not the only one playing out of his mind. Exile 10, 4, and 6 in this game. He's able to bounce back, get a counter pick on Bjergsen, plays the lane well, and then he's able to close this game out right here.
Well, there we go. TSM not going to be netting the 2-0. Unicorns of Love will not go down without a fight. They're going to equalize the count 1-1. Unicorns take game 2.
Seemed like all of the draft problems that we'd seen in game number 1 were solved by Unicorns of Love in game number 2. The fact that they allowed their mid laner to get the counter pick, that they had the confidence in Exile to go